and Shashi Tharoor, we are learning, has attacked the Congress over emergency atrocities. Indira's emergency eroded freedom. Tharoor has hit out at Indira Gandhi's draconian emergency excesses. Today's India not like Indira's India. Must learn from dark chapter of emergency is what Shashi Tharoor has now controversially said. Yet another controversial statement. It has been made, something that the Congress isn't going to be happy about. All right, so this is not the first time that Tharoor has said anything which is going to be offending the Congress party, but this one has got to do with the position that the BJP has often taken against Indira Gandhi and against emergency. Tharoor has attacked the Congress party over emergency atrocities, talking about the fact that Indira's emergency, which is Indira Gandhi, the former Prime Minister's emergency imposition in the country, eroded freedom is what he said. Slamming Indira Gandhi's draconian emergency excesses, says today's India not like Indira's India. Must learn from the dark chapter of emergency, says Shashi Tharoor. We'll be going across to my colleagues for more details on what has he said exactly and in what context. But he's clearly said something that is going to be offending the Congress party once again. A string of comments that have been made in the past also, with enough indication and more that he is leaning towards the Bharatiya Janata Party, more specifically towards the Prime Minister Modi, praising him in the past, this time around condemning emergency. I'm going to go straight across to Shibi Mole for more on that. Shibi, what has the Member of Parliament from Thiruvananthapuram here said exactly? In what context was he asked these questions? Put this into perspective.
Sneha has actually written an article with the headline that heeding the lessons of India's emergency on the occasion of the 50 years of, the Indian emergency, which was imposed in 1975. Is coming down heavily on what happened during the emergency, the cruelty that took place during the emergency. He says that the then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi insisted that all these draconian measures were necessary and only a state of emergency could combat internal disorder and external threats and bring discipline and efficiency to a chaotic country. And then the next paragraph, he goes on to say that, in the quest for discipline and order, what happened or what followed was unspeakable cruelty. He takes the examples of Sanjay Gandhi's vasectomy campaign and says that it all concentrated in the poor and rural areas, and where violence and many other, draconian measures were used to meet arbitrary targets. So he says very effectively, very clearly that about the cruelty that took place during the emergency period. We don't remember when was the last time we saw a Congress MP coming out and expressing, so openly about the cruelties and whatever measures were imposed during the emergency period. The one of the other paragraphs that in one of the other paragraphs he says that India of today is completely different from what it was in 1975. He says that we are today a more confident, more prosperous, and in many ways a more robust democracy. That's the main part here. But one line he says in the end is that, but the lessons of emergency should be kept in mind. Though we have changed a lot, though the country today is a robust democracy, there are still, measures that can change the whole thing. So people who want democracy, the democratic stalwarts should keep an eye on the situation in the country currently and not let this fade, is what he says. So this definitely raises a lot of questions to the Congress leadership, and also one more time raises questions between the Congress leadership as well as the Congress MP from Thiruvananthapuram, Shashi Tharoor.
Be with us. Coming back to you in a moment from now. Maushmi also getting in more details. Yeah, Maushmi, this is going to hugely upset the Congress party. Given that now he's talking about today's India is not like Indira's India, heading out at the former Prime Minister in a way, talking about the excesses during emergency, isn't it?
The Congress would not fail to see the irony of it all, where, the Congress party is hammering in on the 11 years of emergency, and Mr. Tharoor, a Congress MP, is, talking about 1975 and speaking about the excesses that, Gandhi's son, Sanjay Gandhi, did, and talked about how, in terms of urban renewal or family planning, the excesses were implemented and people being snatched away from their shelters. And
to you in a moment from now, getting in a reaction also from Tom Vadakan of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Tom Vadakan, What's your take on what Shashi Tharoor has said? That this is not Indira's India. An emergency eroded our freedom. He's speaking about the excesses during emergency.
The fact of the matter is, the Congress party itself had told its spokesman at a given time not to defend the emergency. But then, under Rahul Gandhi's leadership, it took a U-turn. And the U-turn policy is to praise it, that it is within the Constitution. And Shashi Tharoor has seen through all this. And as an independent mind, he has seen what actually happened and what continued to happen. And this whole business that it was within the Constitution that the emergency was asked and it was withdrawn and an election was held doesn't hold water. The kind of things that happened during that period, people have seen it and people have lived through it. So the reality will dawn, and at a given time, these things cannot be, put under the carpet. So it is essential that people do know about it. If Shashi Tharoor is doing it, I think it is a realization which every congressman had and believes happened at that period.
All right. What do you expect, or what would you think that the Congress would do, given that these are statements, made by Tharoor in the past as well, and the very fact that he seems to be, in perfect, I would say in line with what the BJP has been saying also. All this while as far as emergency is concerned, and is leaning essentially towards the Prime Minister's policies, own policies.
This has nothing to do with the BJP.
Okay.
This is an independent mind, has his own thinking, and believes what he sees and he knows of the period. These are people who have seen the time. I have seen that time, and I know what happened during that period. So it is essentially comes to the heart, and you can't hide these facts. If BJP has nothing to do with this, or leaning to BJP's policy, this is the ground reality. Every congressman knows it. And what kind of suffering people went through, and how many people went to jail, lakhs of people. Colleges were raided, and even classrooms were raided and they were arrested. The entire country was converted into a jail. Democracy, they scream about democracy being murdered. Democracy was murdered and slaughtered, and there was no postmortem done at that period. Today, people are asking questions. It's a deserving question, and answers need to come from Rahul Gandhi and his mother.
Tom Vadakan, I'm going to leave it at that for the moment. There you heard from the Bharatiya Janata Party spokesperson, Tom Vadakan, talking about how the Congress must have answers. I'm going to go back to Maushmi for more details on that. Maushmi, of course, we were talking about how the Congress is going to be very upset about what has been said as far as Shashi Tharoor is concerned. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think he's spoken about the emergency in the past like he has today, isn't it?
See, Sneha, reporters are bound to read between the lines. And if you see what Mr. Vadakan, who's an erstwhile congressman hails from Kerala, the same state as, if I am right, as Mr. Tharoor, immediately said that the BJP has nothing to do with it. So the question really is, with the continued, widening of the differences between the party high command and Mr. Tharoor, would the BJP really have to do anything with Mr. Tharoor, or he's an asset for the BJP till he stays in the opposition camp, targeting the opposition from within? That's a matter of politics. But yes, if you look at the entire article that Mr. Tharoor has written, it's a very scathing article. It's correct that the Congress is not defended and has apologized to an extent about the emergency in 1975, not justified it. But on the other hand, they've, rather than talk about 1975, tried to redirect it to the current political state of affairs in the Modi government, where the institutions are being compromised. They say that this is an undeclared emergency, and it definitely is. The article is not on those lines,
right?
Because Mr. Tharoor just leaves that wider question, Sneha, that we should take lessons from the emergency of 1975. Nowhere talking about the present situation.
That's right. He's written a whole, in fact, an article detailing on what he thought and about the emergency situation. He's spoken about the role of the judiciary. He's spoken about that this is a lesson that which perhaps is the most pertinent one in our current political climate. And this comparison is something that is going to, in fact, get the Congress to see red, isn't it? Not just condemning what happened then, but the comparison to how things are so different today. Like you said, Maushmi, because the Congress has been saying, okay, we declared, emergency was declared then as per the norms of the Constitution, but this is, what's happening right now is undeclared emergency.
Yeah, if we go by the word and the paragraphing of the entire article, Mr. Tharoor talks about the past and stops short about, critiquing the present or talking about the current dispensation, talking about, the leaders. It's more of an advice to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, perhaps, and that's also a very vague one, a generic advice, talking about take the lessons from emergency. So, being a member of the opposition party, a Congress MP, somewhere Mr. Tharoor is acting on his own in terms of drawing inferences and comparisons between present state affairs and the past. And this is completely, divergent to the stand of the party yet again. And he's done it again. So one will have to wait and see how the party that's been, just giving him the long rope. I remember Mr. Kharge last time saying Mr. Tharoor is good in English and that's why he's in the CWC. So somewhere, drawing that rekha that Mr. Tharoor is constantly breaching that boundary. But I don't think that they want to really pull that rope and leave it at that till Mr. Tharoor tries to find his own exit. I still think that he's still in the party till things really climax, a bit more.